Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jerry, and today we have part 6 of my free agent grades. Moving right along, you'll notice there's some unusual text on the screen, and that is a drinking game. I've noticed that way too many times throughout these videos, I go, that's a little too much money. So I need you to drink every time I say, Jerry, me, little too much money. So I've already said it twice, so 2 drinks. You know what? Probably don't have a drink yet. Let me pause so you can get a drink. All right, hopefully you paused and now you have a drink. And let's get on with the drinking game for part 6 of my free agent grades. John Simpson goes to the New York Jets from the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is a good fit for him. The Jets' biggest problem last year was their offensive line. Part of the reason Aaron Rodgers got injured and their season was a huge bust, and it needed to be helped moving forward. I do think that John Simpson probably wasn't the best guard that they could have signed, but they're making a big effort to improve the position. So I give him a B. 2 years, $18 million. I think is okay. I do think it's a little too much money for what he's what he's done. I haven't watched a lot of John Simpson, but a lot of the average, above average have been getting like 10 to 12 millions guards. I mean, when I say that, so I think it's a little bit too much money for him, but I give it a B because it's helping their biggest position of need. Nick Allegretti, he's basically just a depth guy for the Chiefs. Has been for a long time, got a couple rings, good for him. 3 year, $16 million, $5.3 million a year, I think is fine. Basically just trying to fill a hole on the Commanders, or at the very least be like a swing guard. I just give it a C+. I don't think it's a huge signing. It's not very exciting. I don't think it's insane value. I just think it was definitely still a bit of a position of need for the Commanders. So instead of just a C, we give it a C+ for Nick Allegretti. Javon Kinlaw, only a 1-year contract for him. I think this is a great location for him. I do think it's a little bit too much money. $7.25 million just for the 1 year. I don't think he's ever done enough. I believe he was a former first round pick, if I'm remembering, either first or second. So there was a lot of hype around him back when, and he hasn't really lived up to that. He's just been okay. Now I think this is a perfect opportunity. I think he spent some time being injured, but now he gets an opportunity next to Quinnen Williams, not Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams, another big guy. Javon Kinlaw is I think he's 6'5", 320, so he's a big guy as well. So I think this is a good pairing. You're going to have 2 huge guys, 2 just enormous men, in the middle that can stop the run consistently. So B- grade. Again, I think he's a little bit overpaid, so you don't have to drink for that one. But I like the signing, I like the fit, and I like the Jets trying to get better in the trenches. Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray, kind of one of those guys, I remember there being a lot of hype around him early on. I don't think he's ever really been amazing. That's why he just gets a C+ for me. The Titans very, very, very badly needed an inside linebacker, and Kenneth Murray will fill that spot. I think they probably could have done better, and I don't like $9 million too much. I probably would have been better off of $6.5, $7 million for the production that he's had. Again, I think he was a little overhyped and still a pretty good football player, but I don't love what I've seen from him over the years, so he ends up getting a C+ for me. I do like that it's not a super lengthy contract, and I get that that this is a big position in need for the Titans, and they've actually made a couple decent swings in this free agency so far. So I give him a C+. Actually, the most recent, we just saw, this is not too long ago, Calvin Ridley just signed with the Titans. So that was another big swing, obviously not talked about in this video, but will be talked about soon. So he gets a C+. Like I said, I think they could have done better. But it feels a big need. I think it could be argued into a B-. But Sam Darnold, D for Darnold. D+ though he gets 1 year, $10 million. I've kind of been comparing these fringe backup quarterbacks to Gardner Minshew because he got about $12 million a year, and I don't think Sam Darnold is anywhere near as good as Gardner Minshew. And I don't think Gardner Minshew is the most amazing quarterback. I think he's probably one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league, and he deserves to start somewhere. I don't think Sam Darnold does, and I think 10 million is a lot of money. And I don't think it's the swing quarterback that you would want. I don't know what you're going to learn from Sam Darnold. The only thing that I really like at all about it is I think he's a decent fit into the Kevin O'Connell offense. And if Kevin O'Connell believes that he can find some sort of greatness from inside of Sam Darnold, I would be happy to see that. Maybe he can do what Shane Waldron did for Geno Smith and help revive his career. I guess that's, again, the only positive. I think 10 million is too much for Sam Darnold. Yes, he's a younger guy. Yes, he's more likely a bridge quarterback between him and a younger quarterback. And I get it's only 1 year. There's another quarterback we'll talk about in this video that I think was a much better deal. I think Jacoby Brissett was a better option at a lower price. Gardner Minshew was a significantly better option at slightly more. So a little bit too much money for Sam Darnold, and the Vikings get a D+ with that 1 year, $10 million contract. Daquan Jones, this is another case of just re-signing a guy. I feel like I've given all these Bills defensive signings a C- because it's just disappointment that they got rid of so many good players, and like they got rid of Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, and I'm blanking on some of the other ones, but a lot of good players to re-sign. AJ Epinesa, Daquan Jones. There was an offensive line. It just doesn't seem. I don't know what direction they're going, because they're not making moves like a team that would be trying to contend. Now, I don't know. Are they thinking about trying to just hang on to this, Josh Allen and whatever's left of the offense to try to start another it almost not a rebuild, but like a refresh almost. Like there's just been a lot of moving parts. Von Miller's not getting any younger. Stephon Diggs is not getting any younger. I think you have some promise in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, but there's just a lot. I'm very confused, and I know they needed the money, but I don't really like where the Bills have spent it, specifically in this contract for $8.25 million a year. I mean, honestly, I would have rather just seen him sign Kinlaw to see if that could help. You have Von Miller on the edge, and so I don't know. Again, I do like bringing back a guy that's familiar with the system. I just don't love this move. So Daquan Jones to the Bills gets a C-. Aaron Jones, big signing here. I was tempted to give this an A-. The only thing is Aaron Jones has had the injury concerns, and he's never he hasn't been super consistent. He's been consistent when he's been on the field, but he's been injured, and there's all sorts of problems. And I think if you want to try to revive the Dalvin Cook type role that was in the offense, I think Aaron Jones actually lines up with that pretty similarly as far as skill and what they're good at, and getting him for only $7 million is a great deal. So that is why that is the main reason that he's getting a B+. It's also only 1 year, and I've liked the backups in Minnesota when they've been backups. I don't think you could have Ty Chandler be the main guy, or when they tried to put Alexander Mattison in as the main guy, it just doesn't work. They were nice accessories to Dalvin Cook, and now Ty Chandler is going to have that opportunity again to be a kind of come in and a bit of a relief for Aaron Jones. And I'd be interested to see more of Ty Chandler this year. I thought I saw a little bit of upside last year when he got to play. So having Aaron Jones as the main guy I think is good, and I think $7 million is a steal. So the Vikings get a B+ for that one, significantly better than their grade for Darnold. Clelin Ferrell has been another guy who's kind of moved around, went to the 49ers after I believe being drafted by the Raiders. 1 year, $6 million deal is just fine for me. I think the Commanders have signed a lot of defensive linemen, so I don't know if they plan on just having him as a depth piece and maybe he can have a significant role on the defense. $6 million is fairly cheap for an edge rusher, especially a younger one whose career just hasn't blown up like others may have expected. So again, it's just a C+ for me. There's nothing super exciting, not a mind-blowing deal. It's just fine for the Commanders, and hopefully Dan Quinn can elevate him more and make everything better. And then we have this. This is a match made in heaven with Mike Gesicki going to the Bengals, where he can finally learn how to do the gritty properly from Jamar Chase. If he's even willing to teach him, I don't think that that's going to be a thing, but I will laugh if Mike Gesicki does the gritty in a Bengals uniform. And then there needs to be, when that happens, there needs to be a camera on Mike Gesicki, and there needs to be one on Jamar Chase, just disappointed at how horrible. Or maybe he'll be excited that he figured it out. I hope he figures it out, but I actually like Mike Gesicki. I don't think he's that bad. He's always been fine, and I like the little bit that I saw of Drew Sample last year. So I think if they just get an equal role, I think $3.25 million is a bit of a steal. So I know on the depth charts online, it's actually showed that he's been the number one, but I believe they paid Drew Sample more money. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out. But I think it was a good deal for the Bengals and another playmaker. So I give it a B. Couple good signings for the Bengals here after a slow start. They end up getting Zach Moss and Mike Gesicki, both on really good deals. So I like the way the Bengals are spending their money, and they're going to need to spend it if they want to try to work out a contract with T. Higgins, although he's already requested a trade. And then, keeping Jamar Chase around. Looks like Tyler Boyd's gone. I would love for him to go to the Bears. But we're not talking about the Bears. We're talking about Mike Gesicki getting a B, going to the Bengals for $3.25 million. Jamus Winston, I would have loved to just give this an A+, just because I love Jamus Winston. I think he's hilarious. I don't think he's a great football player, but I also think, he threw for 5,000 yards. He had his 30-30 season, but getting him for $4 million, I think, is a steal. It's just crazy value, especially with how Joe Flacco played. If you remember how Joe Flacco played, he was pretty careless with the ball, but he made a lot of plays that needed to happen. I look at Jamus Winston, and I see that as his play style. I am not confident that he could do it at the same level that Joe Flacco could. Jamus Winston has had time to sit and hasn't really gotten a fair shot. And in the event that, Deshaun Watson goes down again, or maybe he spends a little too much time with his massage therapists again, or masseuse, or whoever it was, I think, Jamus Winston needs to come in for $4 million. I think it's a steal for a backup. And I think, we just talked about Darnold. I might take Jamus Winston over Sam Darnold. And for $6 million less, more than half the price, I'm very in on it. So A grade for Jamus Winston of the Browns. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it was very smart. And then we move on to Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett was fine. I really hate the color of the Buccaneers' pants in this particular photo because it makes him look like he's just got some pads slipped into his legs. So not a fan of that. Am a fan of him going to the Dolphins. They need to still need to fill that spot for Bradley Chubb when he was traded away. I think $9 million is a fine deal. He is getting older, but his play, he's not like completely washed up yet. I think he's still got some gas left in the tank and some tread on the tires. So I give him a B-. Again, not a blown away signing, but at least an attempt to fill that void that was Bradley Chubb leaving the team and hopefully get some more pass rush in there. A lot of defensive signings for the Dolphins, which is interesting with how well their defense played early on last year and then just for whatever reason fell off. So I think Dolphins are really trying to fix that problem on defense and confident they can score on offense with all the weapons they have. So he gets a B- at $9 million a year. And then the last one of this video, a Madden legend for me, was a big fan of Naim Hines. I think he's also perfect for the Browns. This is another, we're just talking about the Browns' value here. Like, Naim Hines I don't know if he's better than Kareem Hunt. I think the part that I like about it is he's definitely more of a receiving back, more that agility style back. And you've got Nick Chubb, who is very clearly the power back, the every down back. I think Naim Hines, you could make an argument that he's one of the better receiving backs in the league. You might not have seen very much, but I think he is a weapon on the field, and he will always make a couple plays a season when he's filling in. And with how many snaps Nick Chubb is going to get, I think you've got like a pretty much perfect 1-2 punch for Naim Hines and Nick Chubb. And at the price, $3.5 million, I think it's a steal. It's only a B though, just because he's the second back. I think, there's backs that might be starting that are getting paid around that amount. I believe Gus Edwards was around that price, and he's likely going to be the main guy for the Chargers. So again, I think price is fine, but only a B just because it is a backup. And I do think that 3.5 million, again, it's fine, but mainly I love the fit. I think the fit is perfect. And you could probably even talk me into a B plus or an A minus just because of how good that fit is for the Browns with Naim Hines. But that is going to be it for the video. Comment down below how many times you drank in this video. And then like and subscribe as well. Thank you for watching and have a great day.